Mortgage applications activity falls to the lowest level since 2000. What does that mean to you if you're looking to purchase a home? Let's talk about that. All right, let's get to the point. How do you know if you're making the right decision by buying a home in 2022 or possibly in 2023? I'm gonna give you a few questions to ask yourself and reflect on them. That way, you know, based on your answers, if you're making the right decision or not. Number one question, do you really need to buy a house, or is it more of a want, right? Maybe you want to buy a home because all your friends are buying homes. Maybe your wife or your spouse is saying that they're tired of renting, you just want to buy a home for the sake of buying it, right? Or do you really need because of a specific reason and a specific consequence, right? That is the first question. Now, let me help you reflect on that. What would happen if you didn't purchase a home? Let's say, what is the worst case scenario right now if for whatever reason this year you didn't purchase a home? What would happen? Maybe your answer is, well, I will just stay. Maybe I will just extend the lease. Now, are you willing to do that? Is that okay with you? What are the consequences of extending the lease? Nothing would change. You will stay in the same place. You probably pay the same price or whatever. So the money will be spent regardless. Either you spend it on your rent or you spend it on the mortgage, but you're gonna spend it anyways, okay? So is that too much of a difference for you? Because if the answer is no, maybe you don't need to buy a house. You just want to buy a house. Now let's move on to the next question. How long are you planning to stay in the home? Is it 3 years? 4 or 5 years? For all of my military guys out there, right, who are PCS into Georgia and they tell me, let's buy a home, I want to buy a home, right? But they know they're probably going to be moving within 3, 4, 5 years. Let me tell you this. Are you willing, if that happens, if the market goes down, are you willing to keep your home as a rental for who knows how long? Are you willing to do that? Because if you're willing to do that and you say, you know what, I don't mind if the market goes down, I can just keep my home as a rental, right? And then whenever the market goes up, sell it. If you are okay with that, then how long are you willing to wait until you're able to sell it? Are you willing to be a landlord for 10 years? Are you willing to be a landlord for 8 years? If you say no, I would do it for 1 year, but okay, so maybe you shouldn't buy a house in the first place. Because if you're not willing to deal with the consequences, why the hell are you gonna buy a house? Why? If you're not willing to suck it up, like they say, then why are you buying a home? You shouldn't be buying a home. Now, on the other hand, if you buy a house and you tell me, hey, this is my last home, like I'm buying this and I'm staying here for 15, 20, 30 years, I don't care. This is my last home, I'm gonna die in here. I will tell you, well, go ahead and buy it, because I don't see the problem with it. I don't think the market's gonna stay down for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years. I don't see it coming, right? But 3, 4, 5 years, I'm telling you, you might get in trouble. And if you're willing to risk it, go ahead and do it, because I'm not here to tell you what you should do. I'm telling you the options that you have. It is up to you to decide what risk are you willing to take, what are the consequences that you're willing to deal with, and what are the consequences that you don't want to have to deal with, okay? That is the only job that I have with this video. Now, going on question number 3, does what you're reading applies to you? And this is for all of my people over there that are doing a lot of research, right? And they read, activity went down 30%, buyers activity 20% or whatever. And they think that no one is purchasing a home. They think it's the end of the market crashed, whatever. So what are other people doing? Let me ask you this. If you read something that says that activity went down 20%, does that mean that no one is buying homes? Or does that mean that 80% of the people are still doing it? Because it obviously says that 20% are not doing it. So that means the other 80% are doing it. Okay? So who's wrong and who's right? It depends. That's the answer. It depends. It depends on what? It depends on the situation. People who are doing it, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are doing it right now that don't have the right reasons. They don't have the right exit plan. And that's what I'm making this video for. So whenever you watch it, you know, okay, if the market crashes, I'm going to have to either keep my home as a rental, be a landlord for a few years, and wait for the market. Now, best case scenario, if I'm wrong and everybody's wrong and the market doesn't crash, then even better. You don't have to worry about anything then. You can just sell it for more, take your cash out, and do whatever you want with it. Now, another great question is, what would happen if maybe my plans changed in 4 or 5 years? Let's say maybe you bought this home because you thought that it was going to be your last home. Maybe you were planning on staying there for 10, 15 years. And all of a sudden, 4 years down the road, things change. You need to move and you need to sell your home. And you're not willing to keep it as a rental. What should you do instead? Well, in that case, let me tell you this. It's called a short sale. Short sale means that you will need the approval of your lender, right? The lender, you will have to ask them for permission. You have to prove that you're not able to pay for the mortgage, and they will authorize the sale of the home. That means that they're gonna lose money, right? So you're gonna speak with your lender and tell them, hey, I bought this home for $300,000, but it's only worth $270 right now. Are you able to only take $270 so I can just move on? And then they will tell you, hell no. Or maybe they say, well, let's find out about that. All right. So it's going to be a lot of paperwork, a long process. And if they say yes, you're not going to be able to afford a mortgage for the next 2 years. So it's going to go on your credit for 7 years, and you're not going to be able to apply for another mortgage for the next 2. All right. So those are the consequences. Now, again, if that is something that that you're willing to deal with, right? And you're willing to risk it, then go ahead and do it. I'm not here to convince anybody. So that's it. Just reflect on that, sit down and make a decision that you feel is the best for you. Now, if you need a little bit of help by making that decision, just call me. My phone number is down here. And subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.